Hey, good afternoon, LinkedIn friends, YouTube friends. We will get started in just a minute. Hey, good afternoon, LinkedIn, YouTube friends. Thank you so much for watching today. My name is John Collins. About a week or two ago, I had someone come up to me and actually had two agents come up to me. They were brand new. Basically, what would you recommend? Or how would you start out your career? And that's where this blueprint came from. So this month, we are going to dedicate 2 days. This is our second episode. We're going to dedicate 2 days every week for the whole month of March, going over what I would do if I had to start over in the real estate world. So last week, we jumped in to marketing insights, basically where the market is going and whether people realize it or not. AI is coming, and it is coming at an alarming rate. So I just saw a statistic yesterday. And for those of you that are following AI, Claude is quickly becoming, it's actually been my favorite for several months now, with regards to giving me good educational content that I can sharpen and get out to my audience. But Claude had a statistic where their last upgrade, they were thinking it was going to increase or enhance their services by 1.5 times. So it was going to be an incremental increase over a 3-month period. They were forecasting that they are going to be able to improve their platform 1.5 times every single quarter is basically what it comes down to. Their last upgrade was 5x. So imagine 5x for 1 quarter. So what I've noticed is going on in AI right now is just absolutely amazing. So for people not to get in tune with it and tap into it and leverage it is absolutely, I think you're missing the boat. Okay. I feel like our industry is going to be changing very, very quickly. If you caught the news, the Compass having a relationship with Redfin, brilliant move on Redfin's part. But just the same, I feel like they are 100%. My prediction a year ago was that they were going after Zillow, and no question, Zillow is in their sights. So it's going to be odd to see how things play out. But one thing I can tell you from my opinion is that the landscaping is changing very, very quickly. So, and that is really what I'm going to be focusing on over the next month is working hard to, you need to specialize a niche inside that real estate industry. The bigger the pain point, the more you can carve out your future. So delivering educational content to certain pain points inside the industry, that's where, in my opinion, you need to be. So last week I went into depth why I believe that. Today we're gonna touch on your sphere of influence and how important it's going to be to get that set up now. That is my biggest regret in real estate, is that I did not get as much information from my customers as I should have. Okay. And we'll touch on that in just a minute. So this week we're going over market insights and building your sphere of influence. Week number 2, I'm going to go over social media, what I'm using, what I don't use anymore, what I think is working, and where I think you can find some quick wins. As far as when I say quick wins, I'm talking about finding buyers right away, getting them pre-approved, and they're going to be buyers that are itching to move. So not uncommon. I could actually run some ads and probably have some buyers under contract within 30 days with the tools and techniques that I'm going to show you there. And then week number 3, I want you to pick out some special niches inside that real estate industry that have some really good pain points so we can coach you how to build a business around that that is AI proof, for lack of better words. It may not be AI proof, but it's certainly going to delay, because the more pain and the more human element you have into those pain points, I think it's going to be harder for AI to get inside. And also, how can we leverage AI? I do webinars. Okay. Love doing webinars. Build a pretty darn good audience out of webinars. So I would like to teach people how to do webinars to certain niches. And if people want someone to partner up, I'll be happy to show you all the technology that I use, and partner with people to introduce the webinar technology to you, so we can attack maybe some of these niches together if you need help with it. So that will be week number 4. So with that being said, let's jump right into it. Just a little recap. Like I said, last week's social media last episode, social media presence and where the industry is heading. It's just, I'm not a huge fan of where AI is taking us, but I will tell you the finance world is always leading the way with technology. Okay. So think of the finance world with regards to the mortgage industry. They are driving that conversation to a level, and the data that they are harvesting is absolutely amazing. Okay. So let me fast forward here, and we are going to get right to it. Okay, so last week we talked about market snapshots. I shouldn't say last week. This was on Tuesday, I think we did our last episodes. And by the way, next week, we are going to pick up on our schedule. We're going to be doing these on Monday at 12 and Wednesday at 12 for the next 3 weeks. Okay, we went over the market snapshot. Basically, short-term gains, long-term opportunities, strategies for quick wins and stable growth, and how to introduction to inbound marketing principles. Just so everyone is aware, I am all about inbound marketing. I know people still do outbound. They're going after all of the expireds, and I get that, okay? And I'm not saying that's not a good path, but I'm an inbound. I would rather make it rain. I'd rather have 10 leads coming in than have to make 20 phone calls to get one person to answer, okay? And I found by giving good quality educational content to underserved areas that are experiencing levels of pain, you can do that. And there are quite a few sleeves inside the real estate world. And actually, I would welcome a brainstorming session, because as much as I could probably come up with a half a dozen or 10 off the top of my head, I guarantee you there are more out there, and we can introduce educational value through webinars. So please, anybody, reach out to me on that side. Always happy to brainstorm there. And let's see here. So today's focus is going to be on your sphere of influence. Okay. So typically, most people are going to get your email address and your phone number, and that's good, but that's not going to get the job done in the future. Okay. For what I would tell people if they were starting out today, get your top 100 friends, family, sphere of influence. Okay. You want to get their name, full names, their email addresses, their phone numbers, and their home addresses. The home address is very important. That's my biggest weakness right now. Okay. And I'm actually partnering with companies to actually do it. My database is a little bit larger than some. So I have to try and do it one by one is just, it just won't get done. So that being said, having those addresses is going to help you have a database where you can enter and provide educational content to people routinely that's value. So if you're able to have someone's address and set them up on searches, so they know as soon as something hits the market in their neighborhood, they know exactly when something sells in their neighborhood, and your name is attached to it, plus you're going to be doing snippets of other educational areas that you do it, you're going to build that authority for those people. That is the way to protect yourself in the future. You're going to be able to build a moat around your sphere of influence. Okay. Because the big boys are coming. Okay. The marketing and the information and data that they have at their fingertips to market from is absolutely mind-boggling. So if you take, for example, the big boy, let's just say Rocket. Rocket services 17% of all the mortgages in the country. Okay. Now, imagine the data that's there. When you apply for a mortgage, they know all the triggering events. They know how old your kids are because you fill it on your mortgage application. They know where you work. They know this. They can slice and dice that data to market to the masses to no end. So they know those triggering events. They know when your kids are turning 18 and maybe college bound and you might be thinking of selling. I mean, think about all the data that they harvest. So they are going to be sharpshooting in the future. They're buying this. They're making these acquisitions for a reason. They know where the market's going. Heck, they're making the market. So it's very, very important. I cannot understate how important it is to get that address, email, phone number, and address. Okay, for all 100 people. Set that database up. Hopefully you've got a CRM where you're working. Okay, there are a lot of great CRMs out there. I actually hang my license at Keller Williams. What a great CRM process they've got. And once it's set up, there are so many different ways that you can drip on people with adding that human touch. That's the key. Okay, by introducing that educational content, because everybody wants to know what's for sale in their neighborhood. They want to know what things sold for, but adding those other things. The era of the newsletters with your recipes and things like that, don't be that. Okay, if you don't have a good educational reason to reach out to people, then, don't do it. Okay, nobody wants to see their inbox filled up with fluff pieces. Okay, there's too much out there. So be the person that's giving that good educational content. And as a result, you will be able to build a good moat around your sphere of influence. I also suggest taking advantage of all of the CRM tools that you have with regards to putting them on drip campaigns. Again, making sure that that's good educational content that's going out. Okay. And it doesn't hurt to pick up the phone. Hey, let people know, hey, you know what? Made a career change in real estate. If you know of anybody over the next few months, or if you ever have any questions, never hesitate to reach out. Hey, in the meantime, I took the liberty to set you up on a search. So you're going to get, there's triggers set up. Anytime something new comes on the market, you're going to get an email, and anytime something sells too. Okay, just very, very casual. So compiling that list, like I said, that is my biggest weakness. Wish I would have done it over the years. Didn't see the importance in it. Again, I was always making it rain in other areas, so I never focused on my sphere of influence. As a result, I am actually trying to race to get that set up as soon as possible. All right. So next Monday, we're going to go over social media. Okay. Now, with social media, I'm telling right now, LinkedIn, by far and away my favorite tool. Okay. The information that you can see out there, it's priceless. Okay. I do play a little bit on Facebook and Instagram, but I don't focus my efforts there any longer. Okay. Does it pay for itself? That's a question. That's questionable. Right now, in order to make a dent in those areas, you almost need to scream. And the last metric I saw was that, hey, you need to publish, 100 videos a week. And then when you get 2 or 3 of them that, get 5,000 to 6,000 views, then you run ads. I don't have the patience for that. I don't have the attention span for that. And I don't have the personnel for that. Okay. That's a team. To be one of those influencers, you need to have a huge team behind you. Never really dabbled in TikTok, but like I said, I still post, 2 or 3 times a week on Instagram and Facebook just to maintain what we've got out there. Not a bad thing. And AI makes that pretty easy. But once you find a niche that you want to shine in real estate, oh my gosh, I am like all in on LinkedIn right now. Okay. So next week, we're going to touch on that, and I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. Why I strategically choose those couple of platforms and the different types of content that we are posting. I think it is very important to get in front of the camera and start posting videos. Okay. I think it's very important to post educational content too. I think you need to get comfortable standing in front of a camera for an extended period of time, maybe an hour, teaching the masses, helping them solve whatever pain points you decide to gravitate to. Okay. And I'll go over the different types of formulas and things that I do on that side. I do have a person that does create batch content for me. So we'll go over it once a week. I'll knock out videos and she edits all of them and she'll put them up as needed. Now, there are certain things like right now, this is a live event. So, this obviously we'll post on a couple of places. And then we might take this content and slice and dice it a little bit for some shorts. But my main bread and butter are webinars that I do. And that's actually, I did one on Wednesday. So if you have the right pain point and are running the right ads, it's not too challenging to get people into webinars. Again, I do the educational content. I give it out there for free. Okay. You can actually see all the stuff that I push out there through my website, owntheroof.com. Okay. I tend to teach first-time home buyers how to purchase homes with very little money out of pocket. Most of the time, less than a few $1,000s. So on my website, I offer people, hey, free webinars. I'm going to teach you how to tap into over 2,500 down payment assistance programs and grants across the country. So for me, I tell people the money for me is the easy part. I'll get you the down payment. What usually holds people back in my world is their job or their credit. Okay. And I also do a credit repair webinar. But if you go to my website, you're going to see all the free educational content that I give out. Beyond the webinars, books. Beyond the books, I have video courses. Okay. So you need to be committed to a certain sleeve and just give the stuff away. And in my mind, by giving it away, you'd be surprised how much it rains back to me. So now, with that being said, any questions out there? Okay, so next week, we are going to tap into session 3. That would be week 3. After that, week 4, we've got mastering open, or session 4, excuse me, mastering open houses. Now, open houses, in my mind, are still a great tool for getting quick business and building up your buyers. I have a strategic way of doing it, partnering with someone, and I'll go over the details on that. I also want to teach you how to find the different first-time homebuyer grants and down payment assistance programs out there, because the first-time homebuyers are going to be the low-hanging fruit for you. There are so many renters out there that would love to own a home, but they just don't know how to do it. So we'll show you how we leverage those zero down relationships and how to find partners to help you along the way. I don't know about strategic approach for expired listings and FSBOs. I'm just not a fan. I mean, for me, I know a lot of people run in that direction, but I don't like to swim with the masses. And the reason is, it's just you're fighting for every single deal. Again, I'm all about the inbound marketing. So we'll teach you how to discover effective buyer lead sources for today's market through, in my mind, the biggest untapped area, Facebook Marketplace. My gosh, the amount of eyeballs that website gets. If I had a do-over right now, boom, I'd go back. Actually, that's how I built my business. When I started or got back in the business 15 years ago, I was running ads on Craigslist, trying to build my first-time buyers. So what I did was I would run ads in the rental area. Hey, why rent when you can buy with just a couple $1,000s out of pocket? Imagine how much activity I get from those ads. So I was a phone jockey. It wasn't until because I would get all these inbound leads, and I would just sift through them, send them out, get them pre-approved, and hand them off to buyers agents. So it's a nice model. And believe me, I'm fine being the phone jockey. That's how I'm wired. But just the same, once I found webinars, it kind of took that conversation to a totally different level. Okay. And we're going to teach you, by using all of these, we should be able to schedule 3 buyer consultations in a relatively short period of time. Okay. Session 5, we're going to give you the competitive advantage of specialization. And I want you to start thinking about this right now. In my mind, you've heard this, I'm sure, many times. The riches are in the niches. That is definitely going to be the case in real estate. So find your niche. Do you want to be a probate guy, a foreclosure guy, a bankruptcy guy, a probate guy, just a land guy? I mean, there's money to be made in all of those areas. And you just need to, what I would like to do is, once we're done with this, is maybe do a brainstorm session with people and maybe find some other pain points. So imagine if you have a niche. I mean, actually, I had a guy last week. Let me explain this one to you. He reached out to me for divorce attorneys. There's a technique or a guideline in Freddie Mac's guides, basic Freddie Mac guidelines, where people can purchase a home even though they've got a mortgage on their credit, and as long as the divorce decree says they're not responsible for it. For years, people are told can't do anything with it. Well, there's actually a workaround for that. And to the point where the gentleman that came to me was a little uncomfortable standing in front of an audience of attorneys to explain how it worked. And he asked me to step in on it. He's actually got a stable of like 20 divorce attorneys that were just ecstatic that they had options for their clients to actually purchase homes where they never had one before. So now we're talking about doing webinars. Now he's hitting it big in Lansing, Michigan. I'm talking about, what if I hit other areas with this, with webinars? Very easy. He gets so many referrals from these divorce attorneys, he can't do anymore. So we're talking about possibly taking this webinar and branding it and using it in other marketplaces and teaching people how to get deals done for people that are just finishing up a divorce but can't get that mortgage out of their name. So there is a path for it. So when I say niche, we can create, there's all kinds of niches, and there's all kinds of pain points in every niche. So we just find one that resonates with you. So that's why I say pick one, get that lane. This is a long process, but once you get deals flowing in from this type of process, boom, you are, I don't want to say easy street, but it's a lot easier when you've got people calling you for help versus trying to just search for your next deal. So that's the niche specialization that we're going to cover there. Session 6, the advantage of education first marketing. You'll hear me say this over and over. Leading with education is how we resonate with people digitally now. Okay. For me, my goal, I want to get to those Gen Ys and Gen Zs. Okay. Unfortunately, they don't trust older people. So if you are a Y or a Z out there and you start giving educational content and do that with webinars, oh my gosh, I'd love to find some young people that were motivated on that side. I think we could do quite well that way. And then 7th session, AI authority, value generation. So again, we want to make sure we are using AI as much as we possibly can. In fact, right now, I don't know if any of you have heard of OpenClaw. Oh my gosh, absolutely amazing what is going on. I am excited to set this up and to make my life that much easier. With all the different ways that I'm marketing right now, I have it all going into several different email addresses. It's really hard to keep up with. So OpenClaw is going to make things so much easier from that standpoint. And actually got a computer that's coming in tomorrow, so I can start to get OpenClaw set up. So if you have some time, look it up. I think it's the fastest growing AI model ever. Okay. And you're looking for the technology as Claw, but there's one site in particular called OpenClaw that really allows you to actually So it's just like having a virtual assistant. That's it. So I have a VA right now in the Philippines that does a really good job for me. But oh my gosh, OpenClaw is going to be redefining that market very quickly if it can do even half of what I am reading and learning about so far. So we're going to teach you how to automate these things with OpenClaw. So I'm going to be learning with you as we set this up and using AI for whatever CMAs and whether in-depth market analysis and things like that. I don't do a ton of CMAs and in-depth market analysis just for the fact that, you do it long enough, you give enough educational content out there, people don't need all of these CMAs. You're building so much trust and so much authority. They just pick up the phone and say, hey, John, I've been following you for a while. Can you come take care of this house for me? Crazy. So you'd be surprised once you start doing webinars, how many people will follow you and watch webinars repeatedly. And here's the other side of it. Once you start doing the webinars, like the one I'm doing right now, this stuff ends up on YouTube forever. It's evergreen content. So without fail, you're going to have people just reaching out to you. Again, never selling. That was the key for me. I would people reach out after my webinars and say, thank you so much. I was waiting for when you were going to sell something and you never did. That's why they picked up the phone. So don't have to hear that too many times to take it to heart. So again, we want to find out AI and we want to use as much AI as we can to just kind of replace, if we can replace what you're doing with AI and still build trust and relationships, that's where the home run is. Okay. So we're going to, by the time we're done, I will have OpenClaw up and running and I will show you what it is. So this is my commitment to have that done by the time we finish up. So session 8, we're going to go into webinars. Okay. I'm going to show you exactly what I do. Okay. The software that I use, webinars, they instantly establish credibility and trust. You're an authority. There are some high converting topics that you can choose. Like I said, if we find certain sleeves in real estate and pain points in those sleeves, and we can speak to those, okay, we don't need a huge audience. We just need enough to get a few leads every one we do. Now, the webinars that I do, it's not uncommon for me to get 100 signups and I'll have 50 people on the webinars and, I'll have half a dozen deals next week that I can refer out to people. That's how powerful webinars are. Okay. Now, it's also powerful to know how to run ads to drive people to those seats. Okay. That's key. I see a lot of people throwing a lot of money at stuff. And I feel like if that's the case, you want to sharpen your saw on that, because we don't want to pay any more per seat than we have to. And I'll give you some of the strategies that I use on that side. So at the same time, imagine when you're doing these webinars, if you're introducing these webinars to your sphere of influence, it may not be on topic with your sphere of influence, but you're going to come across as that real estate authority. Whether it's what they're dealing with doesn't matter. They're looking for someone that's an authority in the space. Okay. Also, with these webinars, my database just keeps growing and growing and growing. That's the key. All right. So, actually, what I'll probably do is invite everybody to my webinars. I do webinars on Wednesdays. Actually, I stream them on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. I'm not really sure. My teammate does a lot of that stuff for me. So, all right. So anyways, we're hitting that 30-minute mark. I don't like to run too long for these lunch and learns. So I hope you're getting some value out of it. Like I said, I will look forward to seeing you Monday at noon. And on Monday, we are going to be covering our second phase. Oops, let me go back here. And that would be session number 3. All right. Effective social media. What's working and what isn't working. So we briefly touched on it today, but I'm going to take a much deeper dive on that. So thank you all for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And if you ever have any questions, you can reach out to me directly. My email address, John, John, @OwnTheRoof. Thank you so much. Hope our paths cross again soon. And I will look forward to seeing you Monday at noon. Take care. Goodbye.